I don't know where to start.
Where would you start with a spread like this? 10 dishes, each one more beautiful and tempting than the next. That's the dilemma when you visit Warda Bugataya at her self-named patisserie in Detroit.
Should I start with the mousse since you said, so that's the first thing you mastered?
That's the first thing that I mastered, yeah.
I dove right in with chocolate mousse, which is topped with date cream and a coffee ganache.
So you want to go deep.
All the way down.
All the way down. Grab all the 3 layers together.
Oh my God. How do you not gain 1,000 pounds?
The chocolate doesn't have any sugar in it. The date cream is sweetened with dates. And then the coffee ganache has honey.
Even more decadent, her Meritosi.
So this is an Italian classic breakfast, actually.
The soft brioche oozing with whipped mascarpone, chocolate, and hazelnut.
Oh my gosh, look at that. The pastry is so light.
It's like a pillow.
Yes.
Yes. This is what I want to put my head on at the end of the day. Maritosi.
There's also a lemon tart.
Oh, which this is beautiful too.
Thank you. It is a lemon curd topped with mascarpone vanilla. We call it a cloud.
We have a pillow and a cloud.
Absolutely.
Appropriate for Warda, who's been floating on cloud 9 since being named Outstanding Pastry Chef at the 2022 James Beard Awards.
It felt like unreal completely. It was like walking on clouds. It was, now that it happened, I wish I could go back and just kind of like
Take
savor
it in?
it.
Yeah.
But it was just so fast. It was very fast. It was beautiful.
But Warda Bugataya didn't start baking for the accolades.
It was for me a way to feel less homesick, a way to stay in touch with my mom.
She grew up in Algeria, learning to bake from her mom while earning a formal degree in French literature. In 2004, her husband Mohammed's job brought the couple to Michigan, where Warda began baking at home.
And even my husband, who's also from Algeria, it was for us, like once you get at home, you are not alone.
It's the flavors and the tastes of home. There's nothing like it.
Absolutely.
When Mohammed's job sent them to China, Warda went back to school, the Paul Bocuse Culinary School in Shanghai. They moved back to Detroit in 2015. Warda soon began selling her baked goods at a downtown farmer's market. Then, in 2021, she renovated and opened her own shop in Detroit's Cass Corridor. Her patisserie has helped brighten up a city long known for urban decay.
You have a beautiful way that you've described it before of no borders.
Yes, it's pastries without borders. Yeah. I didn't want to be put inside a box, and I didn't want to choose between all the homes and all the places that we lived at and we loved, and so we just wanted to bring all of that under one roof. And so it evolved here into learning how to bake with rhubarb, which is something that I've never grew up with.
Yeah.
Learning to bake with berries, and then in Shanghai it was also same thing, like getting familiar with ingredients, with matcha, with mango, with black sesame. It was just ingredients that made the baking change throughout the years.
Yeah.
You can taste her journey in her financiers.
We have black sesame with mango, chocolate with salted caramel, matcha strawberry, and then hibiscus passion fruit.
I was taken by surprise by the hibiscus and
This
passion
one is,
fruit.
You know what's funny? I might like that one the most.
Mm-hmm. That one, like, it got a punch.
Yeah.
We should mention there's more to Warda than just the sweets.
Our Greek torta is our like year-round torta staple. And then we have the seasonal one, and it all depends on what's fresh, what's in season in Michigan.
When we visited, it was shakshuka with braised tomatoes, cumin, garlic, and a poached egg.
I'd have that for breakfast every day.
Absolutely.
When people come in here and you get to see people enjoying them in that moment, what is that like for you?
It never gets old, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's still precious, and it's still something that, like, makes your heart like jump a little bit.
Anything else?
Warda's patisserie is built on family, from her tight-knit staff to her husband and 2 teenage daughters, and of course, her own mother.
Has she been here to see
Not
this?
yet. Not yet.
What has
Hopefully
she,
one day.
Yeah. What has she said about obviously knowing what you've created?
I actually went home less than a year ago, and I took all of that back with me. Everything survived. And she was very excited to try everything because she follows me on Instagram. She knows everything that's happening. So, and this is also like something that has been also like a dream of hers. I used to joke with her, like, maybe one day when you retire from teaching, maybe we can open something together. So for her to see that it's as if we did it together.
Yeah, it's a little piece of her.
Absolutely. It is. Absolutely is.
There are people, I think, that will hear your story and say this is the American immigrant story. Do you see it that way?
It definitely is. Even more so of having the community here that believed in us. And we love it when so many of our guests come over and it does resonate with their background or something they had during their travels.
Yeah.
And so that's what we wanted to create.
And it really is this amazing shop. Dig in, because everything's delicious. I asked Warda like if she had a favorite. And the one thing she told me is she starts every day with the Madeleine, which was one of her grandmother's favorites, and a coffee. This is a French pastry, a pain d'épices, I believe, something close to that, excuse my French. It's on the holiday table every holiday season, so enjoy.
The mix of the North African and the French and even the Asian is really amazing.
It's really
She has to be one of a kind. I was going to say Algerian, American, Asian. There can't be anyone else like her.
And it's all those different spices and flavors that she just finds
delicious.
a way to bring together so beautifully.
And it's colorful, it's gorgeous, it's perfect for the
I
holidays.
know they take this away once we go to commercials. So
Yeah,
Eat it
don't
all.
let them. You make them save that. We're saving. We'll just record it like
Just
this.
keep eating.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, we made it. We are on the ice cream trail. It's so big. Our ice cream is huge.
That was last month, taking my family with me as I set out on a story about the New Hampshire ice cream trail. Even getting caught in the rain just before didn't dampen our spirits. I mean, how could it? The trail weaves its way through the state with 42 ice cream shops along the way. The goal? Hit them all between Memorial Day and October. Get a stamp at each spot after grabbing a scoop. Fill this map book out and mail a completed one in for a chance at the grand prize. But as I found out, everyone who gives the ice cream trail a try comes away a winner.
Here you are.
It is a snapshot of summer.
Thank you.
Comes in all flavors and sizes.
Largest are 12 ounces. Okay.
And as good as ice cream looks.
I'll dish a key lime. Thank you.
And it comes nowhere near as good
Mint chip.
as it tastes.
Best mint chip ever.
At Richardson's Ice Cream in Boscawen, New Hampshire,
Black raspberry. Here we go.
Cheers.
Megan Call filled my stepson Jack and me with more than a few craving-inducing bites of some of their 61 flavors.
Coffee Oreo is one of the most popular ones I do.
I don't know if I can ever drink real coffee because I'll just think of this and it'll be a disappointment.
It's so creamy.
That's the fun of making it yourself. You can control it the way you want it. We want it nice and creamy. Because if you're not going to do it the old-fashioned way from scratch, why bother?
And I didn't have to take Megan's word for it.
So we start with 2.5 gallons of base.
She gave me a quick tutorial on how they make their ice cream.
See, and I said I didn't want to spill any.
Keep going.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
A banana chip in this case.
You're gonna lean the bowl up here.
And while it wasn't a top secret process,
This feels like a two-person project.
it is how Richardson's has been making ice cream since the 1950s, when selling milk wasn't enough to keep the family farm going, according to Jim Richardson, who says, yes, you can taste the Richardson difference.
We start with raw milk, raw cream. We have a blend of sugars and milk solids that we've developed over the years that we're happy with, and our ice cream base is exactly where we want it to be.
And even if that means nothing to me, I'm gonna taste it. And that, I'll know the difference.
You're darn well better.
Richardson's rich history, one of the things that makes it unique among the shops you'll find on the New Hampshire ice cream trail.
Which ice cream place do we check out today?
A part of the journey since the trail started 10 years ago.
We're out in the middle of nowhere. It does bring people here. Once they've found us, if they're within 40 miles of us, they tend to come back.
A plus for business.
Wow, looks delicious.
And welcome challenge for the mom and pop shop, with Jim, his wife Sue, and Megan the only full-time workers.
We're stretched pretty thin, but I enjoy what I'm doing.
About 15 miles down the road in Sanbornton, you'll find a similar mindset at Milltuck Farm and Creamery.
Thank you very much. There's never a bad day making ice cream. Like, compared to being a firefighter.
Lori Miller is a former Phoenix firefighter who opened up her ice cream stand just a year ago.
Yeah, one scoop of the pineapple.
Her wife Liz, their kids, even mother-in-law, a part of what she says was a dream.
I'm like a big dreamer, right? So I just got this idea that we were going to start this little ice cream shop.
I'm going to do the waffle bowl.
I had a vision. We were very specific with wanting an environment where people could come and sit. Right? Bring your kids.
Literally what this is.
Eat ice cream. Good ice cream brings people from everywhere.
From the lines we saw, the idea has caught on, and not just with the locals.
I don't think we'd be here without the ice cream trail.
Really?
Yeah, we get as equal amount of like regulars and town folk as we do people just experiencing the ice cream trail.
Especially as a first year.
Yep, they have their maps. I'm intrigued by the way they do it. Some of them are like, I want the chocolate chip, that's what I get at every single place. Right? And they're kind of gauging which ones have the best flavor.
Speaking of, Milltuck had around 16 the day we visited.
I don't know if you can take all that down, but good try. I will do my best.
Lori currently learning the ice cream craft from an industry veteran. And from my double scoop, made up of coffee Oreo cookie and grape nut, her apprenticeship is going rather well.
Get it?
Milltuck Farm and Creamery and Richardson's are just two of the 42 shops on this year's New Hampshire ice cream trail. It runs as far north as Pittsburgh's Moose Alley Cones, about 14 miles from the Canadian border, with shops dotting the freeways and back roads throughout the state. Cities like Keene, Concord, Manchester, and Nashua laying claim to the bulk.
Today we're here right on a dairy farm. One of our New Hampshire dairy farmers owns this.
Amy Hall is the director of the Granite State Dairy Promotion. The group started the ice cream trail a decade ago to raise awareness about New Hampshire's dairy farmers.
One of my favorite things to say is no cows, no ice cream. And, you know, it's 100% true. You know, in 1970, we had over 800 family-owned dairy farms here in New Hampshire. Today, in 2023, we have 90 left.
Brown sugar oatmeal on a sugar cone.
Including, as mentioned, the one we were on, Ilsley's, where Lisa Ilsley is a fifth-generation dairy farmer.
We milk about 15 cows, so it's a real small
really
farm,
small, right?
and in the grand scheme of dairy farming. It's in your blood. Once a dairy farmer, always a dairy farmer. We love it, and I knew that I really needed to do something besides just milking the cows and shipping the milk wholesale, so that's why I started the ice cream stand. Here we are 9 years later, and we're still going strong.
This is chocolate, right? Because they have very good chocolate here.
Mike Atkinson is one of many who discovered Ilsley's thanks to the New Hampshire Ice Cream Trail.
You've completed it now how many years?
I have completed it 3 years, and I have participated in it every year since 2016.
And that's not all. When his completed map book was mailed in and randomly selected last year, Mike became the grand prize winner, receiving an Eat Like a Cow sweatshirt, an array of New Hampshire products, and a small gift card. But Mike is quick to point out the real prize is found in the journey.
Sometimes you don't stop to think, well, let's do something that's a little bit different. And so to go find someplace new and discover a little bit more of the state.
That's what this helps you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's been the best part of this journey that you've taken year after year?
I really get a kick out of meeting the people. And some of the stores are really, really unique. One of the stores, they didn't have anybody there. You walk in, take your ice cream out of the freezer, put your money in an envelope. I'm serious as a heart attack. Put your money in an envelope and drop it in the box.
It's awesome.
That's old-time New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And after all these years, Mike admits there's also a practical takeaway from the trail.
Are you really eating ice cream at every stop?
I get smalls.
Did you do that right away, or you made a mistake like me right away?
No, I learned really quick, don't get the large, don't get a frap, don't get a banana split. Get the small ice cream.
Right.
If you're eating a banana split at every stop, it hurts.
But you'll do that sometimes.
Sometimes I do have to get a banana split.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So Richardson was kind enough. Richardson sent us some ice cream. Well, you've got some in your dish. Yeah. And I will say Jack created a flavor. He was talking to them there and said you should do a mango. And they created a mango.
Oh, awesome.
and love it. And I have a little of that. You guys each have some ice cream there to enjoy. The trail's really enjoyable if you get a chance to head on out there.
All right.
This morning on a special Thanksgiving edition of The Dish, we get dessert-focused with the Little Pie Company and its founder, Arnold Wilkerson. The New York City shop has been serving up its handmade creations since 1985, when Wilkerson, with no professional baking or business experience, left a career in acting and found his calling. It didn't take long for the Little Pie Company to become a regular on Best Pie lists, from Rachel Ray to Food and Wine, helping the shop gather nationwide recognition. And as we found out, no matter how much time passes, Arnold Wilkerson is still counting his blessings.
And so I'm going to show you what I did for 2.5 years out of my apartment.
In a much smaller space.
In a space about this size.
Yeah. For almost 40 years,
just spread those around.
Arnold Wilkerson has been running the Little Pie Company.
Just go like this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what I meant, like a dollop.
And while his kitchen time is a bit limited now, as its founder and first baker, he is the heart of it all.
At least we can eat as much of this as we want, not be drunk.
The irresistible pastry he and his team have become known for, the soul.
Arnold, this table smells so good. I normally say it looks so good. It smells so good. Do you ever get used to this?
Well, you never get used to it because it's like eating. You never get tired of eating.
Which is a good thing when you consider the Little Pie Company menu, with a selection ranging from A for apple.
We have an old-fashioned apple pie here. We fill the pie with the golden delicious apples, made it a nice double crust pie.
That's what I try to make my pie look like.
To P for pumpkin.
The spice in this pumpkin pie.
And plenty in between. But the one that started it all was this, a sour cream apple walnut.
It's thinly sliced Granny Smith apples. It's topped then with the brown sugar and walnuts, and the crust is an all-butter crust.
Wilkerson started making them in his one-bedroom New York City apartment in the early 1980s.
This is like my dream come true.
Okay,
I have an entire pie in front of me. Oh, wow, look at that.
And this was breakfast, lunch, and dinner because, you know, when you're starting out in your business, you don't have any money.
A writer at New York Magazine eventually got a taste and told readers, buy this American pie.
I don't have to tell you what the phone was doing. I had to borrow ovens from my friends' apartments who were to make them out. So I put 4 timers in my apartment and know which apartment to run to get different pies out.
I would say about halfway down the block, I noticed the aroma.
The business eventually helped Wilkerson move on from his makeshift apartment bakery, opening the Little Pie Company a few yards away.
Is it 5 minutes from here to there?
I don't even think it's 5 minutes, and your building is right there.
Yeah, it's right there, yes. There's the Little Pie Company upstairs and the Little Pie Company downstairs.
It's not the life he first envisioned when he moved to New York City to pursue an acting career in theater and film. But growing up in California, baking was always a part of family life.
My mother would make fried pies. My mother, I think about it, liked to bake on Sundays. And the only problem was she didn't like anybody in the kitchen. She didn't know I was watching. So you watch and you learn.
And once he made the pies of his youth a part of his present, he turned back to his mom for advice.
You know what makes this pecan pie nice? I called my mother.
Everything.
And my mother told me, put vinegar in that crust. You see how brown that crust is? Helps it to get done and makes it light.
Family isn't the only influence on the Little Pie Company's decadent desserts.
These recipes, this is not just you developing, this is everybody here.
You know, one of the things that you learn in life is you don't do anything by yourself. You do things collectively, through discussion. We learn from each other.
A prime example, this spin on a Mississippi mud pie, combining the Southern classic with Wilkerson's international palate.
Once you taste chocolate, you know, in either Belgium or in Switzerland, you don't want any other kind of chocolate.
Right.
What you're having right now are 3 different textures of chocolate pie. There's a Belgian chocolate, which is chewy on top. Then you're going to get a creamy texture, and then you're going to get a crunchy texture.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Oh my God.
Now, if you were a chocoholic, wouldn't you be in
Yes,
heaven?
it's like a brownie with like a frosting-ish.
Yes.
And oh my God.
Reactions like mine taking the place of the ovations Wilkerson once got on the stage, a trade he doesn't regret making.
You always know when your heart is into something, when you're doing it because you like it, and you know you're doing it when you love it. 2 very different things.
Right.
I liked acting, but I wasn't in it.
Baking hit the spot for him the way acting never did.
You know, it's a little poignant, but if you look over there on the wall, there's a Time magazine.
Oh yeah.
And the picture of what?
The American flag and the pie.
And what pie?
Yeah.
Our pie. We made the cover of Time. I say it's a little poignant because, you know, that was 9/11, but somehow they allowed us to represent America.
That's amazing. What was that moment like for you?
The pie company has had a lot of neat moments, but when we got this, it was very moving.
Evolving a New York staple into an American one.
Do you still feel like this is also a neighborhood bakery?
Oh, very much so. You see, we're waving to people all the time. The bakers can't stand back there and work in those. We have these large picture windows.
I love
And
them.
constantly, you know, families, we're having children that are growing up seeing bakers at work.
The little pie company producing smiles even before that first bite. So while baking hasn't made Arnold Wilkerson a wealthy man, it certainly has given him a rich life.
The fun is having something that you can be proud of, and something that, you know, that as a black man, I can be an example to other young men, you know, who see that you can start out poor, not formally educated, and just dream and just believe in yourself and go forward. That you can make something out of nothing, basically.
Well, your smile and your laugh are infectious, so you seem pretty happy.
You know, sometimes you have to appreciate your blessings, you know what I mean? And if you appreciate your blessings, you're not going to just always be asking for more.
And Arnold dropped pies off for you guys personally, because he's around the corner from here. You're going to have the sour cream apple walnut. You've got the Mississippi mud, the pecan, and the pumpkin. One other thing he's created there, it's a family. He's like Danny, his GM, started working as a teenager, was a neighborhood kid, and has worked his way up. Dishwashers that work their way up to cooks that have been there for 30 years. And yeah, it's good, right?
This
sour cream apple walnut?
Yes, that's Honey Pratt's favorite.
The pecan is like, it's not too sweet, but amazing. I stuffed my face that day, as you saw. And he was laughing because I didn't put enough whipped cream on my pumpkin pie. I was like, more, put on more. Yeah.
Does he do a sweet potato pumpkin pie combo?
I don't remember, but you can check him out on Goldbelly. He does nationwide shipping, and you'll find him there.
All right.
Or Michelle.
The Mississippi mud is amazing.
Today on The Dish, we set our sights not on a chef or restaurant, but on the baguette. In 2022, UNESCO, the organization known for protecting sites around the world for their heritage and value to humanity, gave the baguette intangible cultural heritage status. In other words, the long, distinctive loaves are a unique part of French and human culture. The baguette sharing gastronomic company with the likes of Arabic coffee, kimchi, and Belgian beer. So how did the crusty bread earn such reverence? No better place to find out than right here in Paris. The City of Light is more than generous with her awe-inspiring landmarks. The Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, the Louvre. But it's here at the Sunday market and at boulangeries around the city that you'll find one of the quintessential symbols of French culture. La baguette.
The baguette for French people, it's like a Proust Madeleine.
Merci.
Like a joyful memory. You have a baguette when you are a kid, you put some chocolate in it, you have like a breakfast with your family on weekends, you can go on holiday with a sandwich, like it's very like a companion during your life.
Pâtisserie qui manque, je te coupe le flanc.
Ouais, merci beaucoup.
Amelia Bell and her husband Antonin opened Boulangerie Mimi in the 11th arrondissement 2 years ago, both leaving the financial world for a taste of this hands-on, early morning work, along with their staff creating beautiful and mouth-watering pastries and tantalizing breads.
Bread is like the soul of French people.
I love that. How would you say that in French?
C'est l'âme d'un Français.
L'âme d'un Français?
Yeah.
To help me understand the soul of the French.
And just shape it like that.
You say it so easily.
As you can see, Amelia put me to work.
Yours are so perfect and mine are gaining shape.
With a crash course in baguette baking.
And after that, you can shape it like a baguette. And this is how it looks like.
I think I may have killed this one.
From the hand rollout.
You need a blade, and you need to lean a little bit.
To the razored slices that bake in the loave's distinguished look. The baguettes we were making, la baguette de tradition, or the baguette of tradition, which are the only baguettes worth trying, according to French historian and bread expert Stephen Kaplan.
It's a baguette that will make you smile. It charms you. It engages you. It touches you emotionally, and it's the emotional inscription in your frontal cortex that will keep you alive and happy for the rest of your time.
I met up with Kaplan at New York City's Ohrwasser's Bakery before heading to Paris to get a better understanding of the baguette.
Take this baguette and do what I'm doing. Blow on it.
Which meant a quick tutorial on bread.
Can you smell the caramelization?
Yeah.
It's like pouring wine into a glass and aerating it, and you're bringing out the aromas from the crust.
And its history.
Bread from the beginning was not a gastronomic object, but a political object. It was so necessary for those in power to guarantee access to good quality bread at a reasonable price in sufficient quantities that it became the measure of the stability of a political system.
In France specifically,
bread was what people survived on. Bread was what defined their politics. Bread was sociability. Bread was breaking it and sharing it and creating community. Bread just constructed everything about Frenchness.
As for the baguette, it took until the 20th century for it to gain popularity in France. Thanks in large part to a law preventing bakers from working before 4 a.m., the baguette's long, thin form made it one of the only breads that could be made before breakfast.
Social factors, taste factors, price factors invited bakers to shift and to begin to do this baguette. And at first, the baguette was quite interesting.
While it's translated to wand or stick, the baguette's distinction goes well beyond its name or shape.
The baguette was the marker of things French. The baguette, the bottle of wine, maybe a beret, and maybe Edith Piaf singing Je ne regrette rien.
And I'm riding on a bicycle with a little basket. Yeah, I have the whole vision of it.
Exactly.
But over time, Kaplan says the quality of the baguette declined.
Bakers are making it too quickly. They're being paid by the piece oftentimes. They're skipping stages, and they're using more and more additives to compensate, more salt to compensate for the lack of taste.
With the image of the French symbol sullied, a law was passed in 1993 to try to restore the traditional quality, a special designation, la baguette de tradition. To qualify, baguettes must be made from start to finish on the premises of the boulangerie and can only contain 4 ingredients: flour, leavening, water, and salt. As for the finished product,
how do you tell a good bread is without tasting it?
Ratatouille chef Colette and Kaplan agree.
Sound with the crust. Listen. Oh, a symphony of crackle. Only great bread sound this way.
While the baguette is defined by its crustiness, Kaplan says there's more.
Is the aroma intense or is it weak?
From aroma and taste to an architectural elegance on the outside.
It has a color that's not white.
And the quality of the crumb on the inside.
The crumb and the crust are coupled. They live the way most couples do, with a certain amount of tension and a certain amount of symbiosis. And that crumb has to be a creamy, off-white, pearly, sometimes yellowish color. It has to have little cavities. We call those alveolage.
Which brings us back to Boulangerie Mimi. With our baguettes fresh out of the oven.
So you want crusty outside,
Right.
like, you know, that you can maybe heard it.
I can hear that
Yeah, exactly.
right away.
And of course, you want holes in it, like
Oh
a
my
lot of holes.
gosh. Totally mine. This is like perfect. So many holes.
Yes, it's a perfect baguette.
Finally, it's time for a taste.
So how is it?
This is incredible. And this is exactly what everybody keeps telling me, that it has to have the crispy outside. It's like a chewy, but not overly chewy inside. And the flavor of it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
With my mouth full. Merci.
Avec plaisir. So now I'm waiting for you tomorrow at 6.
I'll be here if I get to eat after.
Yeah. Deal. It's a deal.
It is also the smell, you guys. Just smell it, the caramelization, the crunch. You guys have some there in New York. I've got
Yeah.
some here. I've had more baguettes than I've had in my lifetime, and they are all so good.
It is.
It was a really cool piece, and we have a huge spread here. Thank you to Ore Washers in New York for all of this. We've got the bread, we've got the marble. What's the This is marble.
These are tasty treats.
Marble loaves. We got a pistachio, like is this
Pan chocolat.
Oh wow!
Dive into the
It's a
baguette.
pistachio.
Jeff. Just dive into the baguette.
Yeah,
I already did.
I ate my whole one. See, DJ? That's all I got left.
Good stuff.
Holes, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
Thank you, Dana.
Savory or sweet, Chef Maya Camille Broussard thinks almost anything is better when it's baked into a buttery crust. That explains the variety and creativity of the offerings of Justice of the Pies, her Chicago bake shop, and in her fantastic recipe book. And all her efforts serve another mission: to expand opportunity and access for both food creators and their customers.
All this sugar for two people? In the kitchen of Chef Maya Camille Broussard, we begin with the classic ending to any good meal: dessert.
Moderation is key when enjoying sweets. It is
And the making by request of my favorite childhood sweet.
This is what I love about this dessert. There's so many different variations. You can have custody, you can have whipped, you can have it warm, you can have it cold. I think that the technique is what makes someone's banana pudding good, because it's all about technique equals consistency.
There it is.
And you've made banana pudding. Voila.
Technique and consistency built Broussard's culinary incubator, which she started 8 years ago. It now has 50 private kitchens for food entrepreneurs.
I started at first as a satellite bakery. I wanted to see how could I grow my brand without a storefront, because I wanted to try to decrease my overhead as much as possible. I wanted to focus on educating the consumer about how great my product is. I wanted to just go slow and steady, because that was the best way to win the race.
Considering her reputation, she's already won. Broussard's desserts and baked goods rank among the city's finest, but her pies take the cake.
Describe some of those flavors. The one pie that a lot of people turned their nose up on at first was my blue cheese praline pear pie, and then it became the favorite pie. I describe it as similar to eating a payday candy bar. The strawberry basil key lime pie is a bit of savory herbaceousness with the tartness of the limes.
How did you get the word out? How did you brand yourself?
I first started selling pies at farmers markets, and that is the best way to get the word out, like the Daily Plaza Farmers Market, which is right in front of City Hall and where the courthouses are. So a lot of judges and attorneys would come down and they would see my name and they would say, wait a minute, I knew your father, you know.
Her father made his name as a student activist in 1968 at Northwestern University. Among other things, he helped establish the school's African American Studies program. He then became a prominent criminal defense attorney in the city, which didn't always sit well with her.
So these were people that I saw come into our home, and I knew my dad represented them, and I was like, how could you represent him? Did he really do that? And he said, well, everyone deserves representation. Everyone deserves a second chance. And so with my bakery, I wanted to make a difference and make an impact.
She now has her own brick-and-mortar bake shop,
One lemon bar.
aptly situated on Chicago's South Side.
We need people like me who are willing to bring their businesses to the South. In Chicago, everybody wants to be in Fulton Market in the Gold Coast because that's where tourism is, celebrity chefs are. And so with the visibility I have, I wanted to be an early adopter to the Avalon neighborhood.
The baker feels right at home here, despite growing up in Chicago's affluent Hyde Park neighborhood. Her father was raised in a housing project on the West Side, where food was scarce. That complicated relationship with food has fed into programs like the I Need Love workshop.
I need love, like kneading dough. And the whole purpose of the workshop is to teach 5th through 8th graders basic kitchen skills.
Something Broussard says she could have used when home alone, when her dad worked late at night.
And I'll tell you why this is important to me, because I think children at that age learn to be more self-sufficient in the kitchen.
She's become one of the city's biggest promoters.
I always tell people there's only 2 cities that I consider to be like food cities.
Which are?
New Orleans and Chicago.
Chicago?
Chicago.
Not New York, not San Francisco. And why Chicago?
Well, first of all, it's extremely diverse. I don't think people realize how diverse Chicago is. Property-wise, we have so much land mass here that there's an opportunity to open up a restaurant anywhere. We're not really competing for a restaurant space.
Broussard is a 2022 James Beard Outstanding Baker finalist.
I have a lot going on, but growing up with a disability, I've learned to go above and beyond what's required.
And was the featured pastry chef on the Netflix series Bake Squad.
To me, being a part of the deaf and hard of hearing community is normal.
These are legit intense.
Where she exposed her invisible disability, something she's lived with since she was a toddler.
I mean, you set a real scene for us.
Her audience and fellow cast members rallied around her.
I like the healthy competition. I freaking love the ambition.
When the show first aired, the number of messages I got from people who said, my child is 4 years old and just got a cochlear implant and just saw the show and now he wants to be a chef just like you.
I am choosing Maya Camille's.
She didn't feel that way growing up.
It was just so easy to make fun of me. And I tried very hard to fit in. And now I try very hard to stand out. And so I embrace my otherness. And I embrace my otherness through the food that I'm creating and the recipes that I'm developing.
Which brings us full circle.
So good, Olive.
A taste of so many of her delicacies all at once.
So this is an unorthodox take on a classic buttermilk biscuit.
Is it?
Savory confections.
I call it the Our Lady of Quiche.
She is a lady.
She is a lady.
Intoxicating sugar highs.
And then I have peanut butter cookie, but in Chicago we call it a lunchroom cookie. And then this is the oatmeal chocolate chip.
My mouth is watering just watching you.
Choices beyond the limits of calorie counting. With hopes of nourishing an often overlooked community. But if I had to choose...
The winner, the lemonade, strawberry lemonade pie.
But you like fruit.
Yes. Delicious. Thank you.
Welcome back. This morning, our James Beard award-winning series, The Dish, gives you, wait for it, The Scoop, an ice cream company that is growing in popularity with a backstory that might seem too sweet to be true. For the perfect summer refreshment, Nancy Chen traveled to Central to New York to meet up with the founder of Adirondack Creamery, and she got to find out what makes the taste of this ice cream so very special.
Something sweet is on the horizon in Boonville, New York. This rural dairy farm is home to what Adirondack Creamery founder Paul Nesrani calls the secret to his success.
So this is where your dairy comes from.
This is where all of the milk comes from that we use to make our ice cream.
And you know the cows' names.
I know their names, but I'm not so sure that they know mine.
The name Adirondack Creamery, however, is growing into a familiar favorite, with more than 50,000 gallons of ice cream produced each year. Nazrani says it's one of the only brands on store shelves that's 100% founder-owned. The simple and natural recipes, inspired by the ice cream he made while working on a Pennsylvania farm during childhood summers.
What did ice cream mean to you as a kid?
Ice cream was like the end of a great day. If I was working on the farm, it was the end of the day, and it was just a great memory. So when I got older, ice cream took me back to those really special times. It's a really great medium to take people to a different place.
And sometimes a different path in life. Before his adventures in dairy, Nazrani worked in the fast-paced world of finance, rising to the role of CFO at a Manhattan firm. But the dream of dessert always beckoned.
When I started the hobby of making ice cream, it was at 11 o'clock at night, leaving a stressful situation of a company in a turnaround and making these batches of ice cream in my apartment just to relax.
What are your coworkers telling you?
This is really good, Paul. You've got to do something. They were really encouraging because they were eating it every day. So they're like, this is great, Paul. Nobody said quit your job.
They're like, why is the accountant giving us ice cream every single day?
In a way, for sure. I left a very stable, steady, regular career, but there was something inside that was like, you got to get up and go outside.
After spontaneously purchasing an ice cream machine at an auction in 2004, Nazrani's hobby flourished into a passion with purpose, creating tastes that spark something beyond the scoop. Like Kashmiri Kawa, featuring South African spices, and Kulfi Pistachio Cardamom, a nod to a frozen dessert in India, his father's homeland. One of his most beloved flavors, Syrian Dayton Walnut, was inspired by the Syrian refugee crisis and helped raise more than $30,000 to support aid services.
Is there a mission behind your flavors?
There is. I mean, it's storytelling. So some are storytelling from my own family experiences or from things that we've been through that we just are like, hey, these are great inspirational pieces about where we've been, and maybe that'll transport someone there. Maybe they'll wish to go there. You know, food shared across a table can bring people together.
You source really straight from the farm. I mean, truly.
Yeah, no, that's why we're here. And I think this milk leaves the farm, and in less than 20 hours, it turns into ice cream. And like being close to those ingredients makes a great product.
Nazrani credits the brand's 14 unique flavors to their very official research and development team.
There it is. Look at that.
Nazrani's wife, Simi, and their sons, Khalil and Tyle.
No, it needs more flavor, but it's really good.
Definitely needs more.
This is where we produce everything.
Back at the dairy farm, Nazrani gave us an opportunity to join in on the fun and mix our own concoction.
We've never had this many chips in anything. This won't be a cost-effective product.
But it's going to taste
it's
so good.
It's going to be good.
Using his original machine that started it all.
So let's see how this flavor comes out. We'll have to have a name for it.
The Fancy Nancy.
The Fancy Nancy.
I love how fresh this is. Thank you.
So conclusion, I think maybe we have to figure out how to package it.
I think so, if I get royalties out of this.
With a career this fulfilling, it's easy to see why, 20 years later, Nazrani's dream job has only gotten sweeter with time.
What should people who are sitting around thinking, I have this dream, what should they take away from what you've been through?
I think the first is that nothing's impossible. It's never, ever too late. So I think if you're called to do something and you feel it, you can't wait for some other event to make your event happen.
From farm to farm, and this year marks 20 years since Nazrani started Adirondack Creamery. It is now available in stores in 10 states, and you can buy it online from across the country. So you saw him out there trying out flavors, new flavors with his family. The next one up is lemon blueberry, the flavor of his wedding cake. And we brought some flavors over to you. Of course, you can't talk about ice cream and not share some ice cream.
We appreciate
so,
is the Fancy Nancy one in here?
You know, that one, as they said, not quite as cost effective because I might have broken the machine. But we do have
raspberry right here.
We have black raspberry, we have Syrian Dayton walnut, Kashmiri Kawa, which we talked about in the piece, and Early's chocolate peanut butter. So I love the recipe. We got a vote of confidence right there.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't it?
You know what it is about
this
ice cream?
This is fantastic.
I remember eating ice cream in times of celebration, but I also remember eating ice cream as like a comfort food. Like if I'm sad, you know, when that first boyfriend breaks your heart and you're like, I can just eat a whole
Some wine and some ice cream solves all, but it also brings people together.
I don't want to make this weird,
like every occasion.
This is orgasmic.
Oh,
I apologize.
well, there we go.
All right.
See, that's why I came up from Washington. That is why I came up from Washington.
At 8:44 in the morning.
Say that,
Wait a minute.
okay?
Nate,
It's made all my travel and all of the wake up early stuff
You
completely
gotta put that
worth
on the
it.
carton.
Nate just said it. I came up to hear it.
Okay.
By the way, this is the breakfast of champions.
Try
in case
that
you're
black
curious.
raspberry.
This is the one?
Be
Okay,
careful,
let
though.
me see.
This is like
Well, let me
50
try
shades of ice cream.
In our James Beard Award-winning series, The Dish, a French-style bakery is serving up tasty treats with a purpose. Jete Kersley is putting her spin on classics like croissants and macarons at Je T'aime Patisserie in Brooklyn. That's the way you call it.
There you go.
She's combining her love of baking, French culture, and her connection to the community by making sure everyone has access to fresh pastries. Michelle Miller traveled to Brooklyn to see how the bakery is doing just that.
There's a taste of Paris in the heart of Brooklyn.
All of this is for you?
Yes, it is.
All right. Hello, good morning. As soon as you walked in these doors, I wanted to transport you to France.
The croissants, danishes, cinnamon rolls, and much more take you there. Welcome to Je T'aime Patisserie. Owner Jete Kersley.
Je t'aime actually means I love you. Who knew that I would be here with this patisserie?
At some point, she did. This Queens, New York native grew up baking for her younger siblings while her single mom was at work.
They were my taste testers, my experiments, yes.
Those experiments began with a pantry staple.
I would take the box cake mix and add everything, sprinkles, fruit, frosting, cinnamon, everything to make something different.
Soon she started experimenting, selling her cupcakes beyond friends and family.
No one knew that it was from the box.
She eventually ditched those box cakes, trained as a savory chef in culinary school before living out a lifelong fantasy.
Since a teenager, watching a lot of romantic comedies, you always see them kissing on the Eiffel Tower or just in Paris sitting on the grass. I actually went there for 4 months with me and my friend to just do some research, and we ate.
That sparked her desire to teach herself the art of French lamination, the age-old baking technique that creates those flaky layers in pastries like croissants, which fly out of her shop each day.
We're selling about 80 to 100 croissants.
80 to 100.
Just plain chocolate, ham, almond croissants. Started out with that tiny piece of dough.
I found out firsthand the bestseller isn't easy to make.
I call it a bicycle.
Okay.
That's what I've been taught to call it. It's probably some fancy name, but I don't got time for that. So this is really to just give you accurate croissants all the time.
Ah.
Yeah. Go from that corner to this corner. And I'll go from this corner to that corner.
Oh.
So let me show you a trick. You only want to use the tip of the knife.
Oh, that's easy.
It took me 3 years to learn how to make croissants. So I promise you I'm not judging anything that you make right now. How you doing? I go by a slogan, we have everything for everybody on every budget.
Still, business was slow those first few months. Locals thought it was just another storefront, gentrifying this once predominantly black neighborhood, driving up rents while offering few options they could afford. But that wasn't the case.
That's when she began accepting EBT and SNAP benefits, public assistance from her customers.
When you found out you could use food stamps here?
I just came in one day.
And you just used it?
Yeah.
When I was telling other business owners about it, they were like, no, you shouldn't do that.
Why?
It's gonna bring all of those people into your store. And I was like, I don't know.
I'm those people.
No, I'm so serious because I remember my mom having food stamps. Those people are my people.
Ever since, her people now include visitors from across the country. And if you think you're going to come and get the same items all the time, think again. Kersley changes the menu every 3 months.
Every time you come in here, I want you to say, oh, I didn't see that last time.
The community is embracing this bakery that's offering a respite and a brief escape to the city of love.
People ask me all the time, like, why did I put this bakery here? It's because this type of food isn't available in this neighborhood. So I want to make sure that not only am I giving them quality food, but variety all the time.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Michelle Miller.
Thank you, Michelle Miller.
I know where I'm going this week.
I was going to say, Vlad, take me with you. Let's
go.
Well, you guys live in Brooklyn, so you can go very easily.
Right.
Well, you can't.
I have to take a field trip.
Gail's like, I don't have my passport.
You can take a helicopter.
But I love the part in the window. Jate, I love it. I love your place. Your food looks good. I wanted to lick the screen.
On the dish this morning, Gesine Bullock-Prado, the pastry chef, author, and former Hollywood player, sister of Sandra Bullock, who many years ago moved to Vermont and never looked back. Bullock-Prado's latest book is called My Vermont Table, Recipes for All 6 Seasons. Yes, in Vermont, there are 6 seasons. We'll explain.
Look at these gorgeous ingredients. Look at this. This is maple sugar. Don't you just want to dive into that and play with it and smush it around? What you're going to do, put that in there and smush it.
If you don't know how to bake, call in the expert.
See, you got a nice paste going there.
See, you want it pasty, kind of like me after a long winter.
Which is how our day started with Gesine Bullock-Prado.
What are we making, by the way?
We're making maple tuile, which is one of the yummiest cookies ever.
Okay.
So you're going to take a dollop, put it here, and you're just going to smear it down a little thinner. And here's a trick if you use the whole of the spatula. And smearing, and smearing, and
look at that
smearing,
beautiful
and
slide.
smear. So next, we're going to go into the oven. But you have to be Jeffy on the spot with this. You cannot leave the oven alone.
Jeffy on the spot.
You have to be Jeffy on the spot.
Okay.
Okay?
The batter sits in the oven until it begins to brown and bubble, which at 400 degrees only takes a couple minutes.
You're going to take it and just flip that little bit over.
Before they're rolled into cylinders.
That is not bad.
That is pretty stinking great. And for the first time, genius. So this was completely cool. Want to try one? They're so good. I've made you a baker.
Does anybody want to try my schmear? What is it called? Dingle?
Oh my God.
What is it?
Call it a dingle?
Wait, what's it called again?
A tuile.
A tuile. It's similar.
Bullock-Prado's path to cooking stardom started in Virginia, where she was raised a strict vegan. Orders of her mom.
I was full of rage. I was full of rage mainly because my lunches really stunk. My mom made her own like crumbly bread. I would have a vegan spread on it, and it was just sadness in a Ziploc.
Eventually, she moved to Los Angeles, where she worked alongside her sister Sandra and co-produced films, including Gun Shy and Miss Congeniality 2.
What was it about the West Coast that didn't work for you?
Well, it wasn't Vermont.
What is it about Vermont?
There is a coziness, a safety. It is truly such a comforting and beautiful place, and so is the food.
A collection of that food is now featured in her latest book called My Vermont Table, Recipes for All 6 Seasons.
If you think about the winter in Vermont, it's just an incredibly long season. So it's nice to break it up, right? So right before winter and the snow comes, you get stick season, because most people think fall lasts forever here. It's like a week.
After winter comes mud season, when the snow has melted into the ground and the maple trees start to show signs of life.
And that's just right before spring, and when things are, kind of ooky outside. But Vermonters love it because we know what's coming. We know the sap's starting to run.
On this Vermont table, ribbon salad, arugula, radish, broad beans, zucchini, and squash with goat cheese, homemade sourdough bread, obatza, a Bavarian spread with camembert, cheddar, and paprika, chicken salad, spätzle, a bit dumpling, a bit pasta, and beef Wellington, which Bullock-Prado prepares sous vide.
Oh, this is so tender. It's falling apart.
Oh.
I'm gonna have the little piece.
I felt the weight of it just.
The weight. It's a nice little piece of meat. And Wellingtons are one of those things that people really freak out about making because you are essentially cooking meat blind, right?
Oh, man.
It's one of my favorite things.
The sweets included a strawberry chocolate mousse cake and maple glazed donuts.
It looks so good, it almost looks fake.
Donuts are never fake. Donuts are one of the realest things ever. And they don't talk back.
Wow. Heading to the syrup.
Syrup, this way.
For the final desserts, we just had to run out for some ingredients.
Go about an inch in. So now the spout goes in. So but gentle taps, exactly, right there. Until it feels really snug. I think that looks good. Let's see if it's coming. Yes! Now attach that bucket. Let's get all that sap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there it goes. It's like...
It's not the sweetest right
It's
now.
not. No. So it takes 40 gallons of this to make 1 gallon of the syrup. That's why it's so special.
Yeah.
And so sweet and great.
Because it takes time.
It takes time.
And love.
And love. And dingles.
The dingle will live forever.
The end result, simplicity itself, maple syrup and snow, as pure as it gets.
You need the maple already made, and you boil it down to 235. Then you call your dentist and make an appointment.
What's better?
Isn't it fantastic? It's like taffy. It's tree taffy.
If people want to understand Vermont food, what do you tell them?
It's authenticity, it's joy, it's comfort. A lot of people think it would be very heavy, but it's incredibly seasonal. It's truly the OG farm-to-table food.
She was so great. As Marcy said, I want her to be my best friend.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt.
We had a lot of fun. So this morning we have some of her Vermont sour, which
smells so good. I can smell right now.
Gesine sent to us with the Obatza spread. This is the camembert.
She didn't send the dingle?
The dingle did not make it.
Jeffrey Todd.
I'm sorry. I forgot what it was
not close.
called. I don't mind that.
Tweel, dingle.
Dingle. They're very similar.
No, they're not.
They share a lot of letters. And that is what I tapped right there.
You tap this. You tap that.
Oh, yeah.
And 6 seasons. I like that as well.
They've conquered bakeries and sweet desserts worldwide, but the original Portuguese custard tart, the pastel de nata, was created in Lisbon nearly 2 centuries ago. Just one bakery claims ownership of that first very secret recipe, and Remy Inocencia went to Portugal to visit the famed Pastries de Belém.
A shower of sugar and cinnamon spice. Then that crunch of a Portuguese egg tart.
Oh, my Lord.
So nice.
It triggers all your senses. Not only taste, you can also smell it, you can see it, you can hear it as well.
40-year-old Miguel Clarinha runs the perpetually busy Pastries de Belém.
It's a pleasure having these rooms filled with noise and laughter. That's why we're here.
Portugal's original egg tart business has been here for nearly 200 years, now popping out 25,000 tarts each day, says Clarinha, and for countless customers.
Millions? Yeah, for sure.
It's been in his family most of that time. Different faces across 5 generations, but the same kitchen to this very day.
This is like pastry heaven for me. Feeling goosebumps on the back of my neck to be right in front of these freshly baked. You'll have one, just they're too warm. You need to wait a few minutes.
Just one. I'm gonna have more than one.
Sure, you can take a tray with you.
But no luck on knowing the recipe.
Well, I can't show you inside, but I can show you the door.
In the Oficina do Segredo, or workshop of secrets.
So the 4 chefs
make the pastry and the custard in this room.
So only 4 people in the world know the recipe?
And the 3 owners and the retired chef. So 8.
So 8 in total.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's the secret?
It's not only the ingredients, but it's mostly the way you mix them and the art and heart involved.
The first part of the process we are allowed to see is the prep of the puff pastry. The experience of years, eschewing the need to measure. As women press and round, techniques passed down through time. Next door, the egg custard, yolky yellow, is whipped up thick like pudding. Perfect proportions piped out. Then it's into specially made industrial ovens that sear them at an incredible 750 degrees Fahrenheit to caramelize their tops. Scorched splotches the Portuguese style. Once cooled, they're brought out to customers craving a bite of history.
Okay.
We don't know exactly the year it was invented, but we believe it was in the beginning of the 19th century or in late 18th century. Invented by monks.
Yes, not men of the hearth, but men of the cloth. As the story goes, monks inside the 14th century Geronimo's monastery, just a few minutes' walk away, used egg whites to starch their clothes.
With all those leftover egg yolks, the recipe for the very famous and very yellow pastéis de nata was born.
Within these walls, among the tombs of Portugal's most famous explorers, the recipe stayed secret for perhaps 100 years. Until the monks, starved for cash after the Portuguese Revolution of 1820, sold their recipe to a businessman across the street.
That's where it began. In 1837, there was just the front counter, a few cakes. A lot has changed, obviously, ever since. The only thing that remained exactly the same is the recipe and the way they're made.
How many have you eaten in your lifetime?
I probably had about 1,000 of these in my lifetime.
That's pretty
And
decent.
I don't really like sweets, so...
Wait, you don't like sweets, except here we are.
Yes, it's one of those life ironies, right?
The pleasure of the Portuguese egg tart, a national treasure turned international treat, a savory sweet. Once tried, you can't help but repeat. For CBS Saturday Morning, Remy Inocencio, Lisbon, Portugal.